Hello, it's B. We are now on day 4 of the Self-Care Success Challenge. So tomorrow is our final day, and it's just been so amazing. Just every day reading your comments and your emails and your posts and hearing about the impact that this challenge is having on you. And only last night, one of you amazing mums said how much she was looking forward to today's video. So that's great. So today's video is basically about what to do when self-care goes wrong. And by self-care going wrong, I think there's kind of 2 levels of self-care going wrong. One is that self-care kind of just slowly slips out of our daily habit, and we kind of don't really notice that that's happening. Maybe, I don't know, maybe our bedtimes get later, or because we have a child poorly in the night, we're not getting up as early, or for various reasons we're not eating so well. Whatever it is, our self-care slowly slips away, and then we have to start again. And so far in these videos, you now have all the tools you need to get yourself started again. But there's another way that self-care goes wrong, and that's when self-care turns to essentially self-harm. I'm not talking about self-harm in terms of, cutting yourself or anything like that, or doing anything kind of risky. But I'm talking about self-harm in terms of self-sabotage, in terms of actively doing the things that are going to make you feel pretty shit. So I'm going to use myself as an example, because there's a saying, isn't there, something about life imitates art, or art imitates life. I'm not sure, but anyway, it came to mind this morning when I was thinking about this and how to talk about today's topic. Because yesterday I had a hugely emotional day. I was often in tears. I just had a couple of things that happened that just really threw me. I didn't really have the energy for them, the emotional energy or the physical energy. And so I often ended up in tears. And by the time it got to the evening, and I dropped my boys off at their dad's, and I had to go to Aldi and do the food shopping. And for me, food is my weak point. I lived with a compulsive eating disorder for almost 20 years, really. And I've only really had food freedom in the last year. So I know that for me, that is the area where if I'm kind of like really completely depleted, what I will reach for is food. And when I say food, I'm talking about like high sugar food. That's kind of my go-to thing. And on the one hand, I go to that because I have some kind of attachment to it, that this high sugar food is comforting. But the reality is that it isn't at all. It makes me feel rubbish, physically rubbish, emotionally rubbish, spiritually rubbish. And so last night, having had this hugely emotional day, I ended up doing my shop at Aldi and buying all of this sweet food, and knowing as I bought it that my plan was to just sit in the car and eat it. And I hadn't behaved in this way for such a long time. And so there was this part of my brain that was saying, why are you doing this? What are you doing? This isn't going to make you feel good. But then there was this other part of my brain that was like, no, this is what we do. This is how we look after ourselves. And so, so I had this just really rubbish evening, eating all of this food. And I just felt crap. And of course the food tasted delicious, but that delicious taste doesn't last long. So here's my thing. And here's what I want you to take away from this today. These things happen, okay? You can be brilliant at self-care. You can have such an incredible self-care routine in your life, and you can have that in place for months and months, but then something will happen, and often something unexpected, and everything unravels. And when it unravels, sometimes the only thing that you're able to do is to reach for an old habit that has tried to serve you, and in trying to serve you has done its best, and you reach for it even though you know that actually that's not good for you. And so in response to doing that, you need extreme self-care. Okay, so this is where I'm at today. I am at the point of extreme self-care. And this is not self-care that I could do every day, but this is kind of like bringing in the big guns because actually I really need it. Physically, I feel a complete wreck today. Now, the first step of extreme self-care is how you talk to yourself. You must speak kindly to yourself. So in the past, I might wake up on a morning like this and I would be like, you're so stupid. What the hell do you think you were doing? I would be really mean to myself. Whereas today, and this is how I do respond now, so this is my extreme self-care, I'm just really accepting and I am gentle and I'm like, it's okay. The part of me that goes into this kind of almost like a trance state and just consumes all this sweet food in this kind of binge setting, that part of me is really trying to look after me. And, it doesn't know any better. And so I want to love that part of me. And I know that part of me doesn't come back very often these days. Like I do have food freedom 99.9% of the time. So when that part comes back, I'm just really gentle with it and I'm gentle with myself. So today it's about saying to myself, do you know what? What's the most important things you need to get done today? And let's do those and let's not worry about the rest. And then when we have this extra time, because we're not worrying about the rest, what would you really like to do? Like I would really like to just snuggle on the sofa in my duvet or under a blanket with my dog and my kids and just watch a movie. So that's my plan this afternoon. It's raining and miserable here anyway. So the other thing that I might like to do, which is to get out into the Peak District, isn't really very appealing. So this is my first thing when it comes to extreme self-care, is be really conscious and mindful of speaking to yourself kindly, gently, and lovingly. Okay? You can tell yourself, you can say, I love you. I really love you. It does not matter that this went wrong. I love you just as you are. Okay? Then the second thing is to have specific things up your sleeve that you can kind of pull out like a magician and get them into your day. So for me, and for some of you this might be too much information, but quite frankly I don't care, I discovered the incredible beauty of enemas a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, and coffee enemas in particular. And one thing I know is that my liver really starts to struggle with all of this sugar that I've just put in my body. So one of the things that I'm going to do today, and I've already started getting ready for it, is a coffee enema, because I know that it's going to detoxify my liver. It will give my system this kind of break that it needs from this kind of colossal sugar attack. And that's going to really help me, because the effect of me eating a huge amount of sugar will last for days, and I want to minimize that as much as possible. So that's one of my tools that I have up my sleeve. I also, because I went to Aldi, I have a huge amount of great food now in the house. So I'm going to have quite a simple vegetable-based diet for the next day or two, just so that, again, I can give myself, my body, like this really gentle, easy way of being for a couple of days. And the other tool, which I have in my life every day, but is water. Water, 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 water. Water is not just about our physical needs. Water cleanses us in all sorts of ways. It's incredible. So when we have like these big emotional experiences, if we don't process those emotions fully, they sit in our fat and in our muscle. So then when we break down that fat, or if we break down the muscle, which happens, typically happens with age, these emotions begin to come out, and they can be quite toxic. So if you're in this place of incredibly kind of like, emotional stuff going down, an amazing way to support yourself through that is water, a lot of water. And, drink a lot of water, but be in water, showers, hot baths, and whatever works for you. So water is another tool that I have. And then my fourth tool for me is about vulnerability and honesty. And that can be a really courageous thing, but I've already spoken to my kids this morning, and I said to them, you know, I realized too late, but yesterday I became too depleted and I wasn't doing a very good job of recognizing what I needed and communicating what I needed, and things went wrong with my eating and I need to get better now. And I said to them as well, I said, you know, I'm going to try and be much clearer with you guys about what I need, and I would really love for you to help me meet those needs if you feel able to. So being honest and vulnerable with the people around you means that they can, if they're able, they can support you. And it also means that, especially with the adults, but also with kids, like, you know, I think as women and as mothers, we can be so strong. We can appear like we're doing everything, and, you know, we can just seem so strong. And there can often be this mentality of like, I've just got to get on with it. And if we live in this kind of like, I've just got to get on with it, and my needs don't matter, then it paints this picture to, you know, the people around us and these children who are growing up to be the next generation, to kind of think that, like, you know, well, women, you know, women don't need anything, or, you know, kind of women just get on with it. And actually it's okay for us as women to say, do you know what, for whatever reason, things have just, you know, I've reached the bottom of my pit right now and I have nothing else to give. And I think it's a really courageous and strong thing to do. So that is my final tool that I pull out. So I encourage you, okay, this is your homework, to work out what is in your toolbox of extreme self-care, okay? And I would say that speaking kindly and gently and lovingly to yourself should absolutely be one of them. And if that's something you need to practice, then go ahead and practice. Drinking a lot of water should also be another one. Eating food that is gentle and kind on your body, again, should be another one, because these things support all of us. But then what are your additional extreme self-care tools? And you may not know all of them right now, or they may come to you really intuitively and you'll be like, oh. And if you need to write them down so that you can just have them tucked away, I don't know, in your I don't know, in your makeup bag, or well, I don't know, wherever you want to tuck them away, in the cutlery drawer, it doesn't matter. But wherever you want to tuck them away so that you can go to them and you can draw on them, then do that. So that's today, extreme self-care. I'm going to get this video up and out. I feel like it might have been a little bit longer than I'd hoped. And I have another thing that I just have to do today. But then the rest of my day is just about resting and being kind to myself and having a coffee enema. And on that note, I will see you tomorrow on day 5. I really look forward to hearing your reflections and thoughts and planning for your own extreme self-care. And you are amazing. You are worth it. And it's really great to be on this journey with you.